Meet the lifeblood of the Myrtle Beach Herald and the woman who works behind the scenes so hard to get it out each week. Coming up next on Carolina People. Good morning. Welcome to Carolina People. This morning we're at the Myrtle Beach Marriott Resort at Grand Dunes. We're focused on the 10th annual American Heart Ball to be held here on Saturday night. And we're visiting with Betty Moses, the copy editor of the Myrtle Beach Herald. Good morning, Betty.
Good morning, Greg.
Thanks so much for getting in. It is so exciting to think we're so close to the Heart Ball, and so much excitement is just going on all over town getting ready for this 10th annual event.
Well, it's really exciting for me to be associated with it now because this is something totally different than what I've been involved with.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm really excited about it.
Have you picked out your dress already to get ready for the event? Oh,
no,
come on.
No,
You've
I
got
got
about
one and I
48
don't
hours.
like it. I know.
Oh, wow.
Tomorrow all day.
Yeah, you'll be planning that out. I know. And, of course, for you, Betty, you've got so much going on during the week to help get the paper out this morning. I mean, the paper just got out, obviously, to readers in the area this morning, and so it's exciting for you, I'm sure, to know that you can take a little breather after having worked so hard.
Oh, it is. And the way I'm set up, I work 3 intensive days, and then I have a chance to relax then, and so I'm so glad I've got that time now.
Right.
To get prepared for the ball.
Yeah, and the 3 intensive days will be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Right. All my work is concentrated in those 3 days, heavily concentrated.
I don't know how the folks who put out dailies do it, Betty. I mean,
oh, no.
Yeah.
I can't even think about a daily.
It is amazing. Of course, the Sun News, the daily of record here for our viewers would be the Robisonian up in Lumberton, or the Morning News up in the Florence area, or the Sun News here. To think of the intensity they have on a daily basis, working so hard to get that paper out. It's incredible.
No, I just can't imagine it. I can't imagine not having the days after to catch up.
Right. Oh, yeah, it is incredible. Well, it's so exciting to think, and of course, as well, with the Myrtle Beach Herald as the presenting sponsor for the 10th annual Heart Ball, the Herald now just celebrating 10 years of serving the greater Myrtle Beach community, and the Heart Association having been here 14, 15 years, but it being its 10th gala, it's surely a great opportunity to have the two together supporting the community.
It's really great to be that close with it.
Yeah. Betty, real quick about yourself. Are you originally from the area?
No, I'm originally from western North Carolina, near the end. I'm near Cherokee, in the mountain area.
Oh, yeah.
And have been down here about 27 years.
27 years? Mm-hmm. Golly, so you're really a local now.
I'm close to being a native. Closer than a lot of people.
I know. I'm trying to think, when will the cutoff be? When will you become a local? That's right. Do you have family here in the area, Betty?
Yes, I have. My father is here, and 4 of my children are here, and 2 are away.
You have 6 children?
I have 6 children.
Oh, come on.
1 daughter and 5 boys.
You had 5 sons, Betty? My Lord, that's a lot of work.
It was. And they're grown now, which is wonderful.
Yeah, I'm sure. That's right. So 1 daughter and 5 boys. And your daughter's living down here?
Yes,
Right.
She's active in the community, and she and her husband are both very busy, and she's into art like I do. She enjoys art very much like I do, and so...
And when we say copy editor, you also do a heck of a lot of the layout design of the paper, as well as layout advertisements for clients in the area. I mean, you're involved in every aspect of the paper.
Yeah, I sure am. And I take, I get the text from the reporters, the stories, and then, of course, I get the pictures from the photographers, and then we try to work in all the local news, and we try to carry an extensive calendar of events going on so that people... can get our paper and find out exactly what's going on.
Oh, absolutely.
What time.
That community calendar is invaluable to think on as well as the section there in the living page or the faith page that has a lot of calendar events in the greater Horry County area of things going on with area churches. But that community calendar does so much to give folks a real feel on a regular basis of what's happening in the community.
Well, I feel like it's real important that they feel they have a place where they can find out what's going on and try to cover events like that as well as the news.
As well as a place where charities can send in stuff.
Right, We welcome any news that we can get like that, any press releases, because we want to make sure they're covered.
If a charity is just getting started and they don't have a big national arm behind them, but if they're a small local charity, what are the more important things that they need to get out on that press release to make it easy for you to get it either in the community calendar or in another separate little piece in the paper? What are the key ingredients that a charity would want to put in there?
Well, of course, all their total date and time where it's easy to read. But we want to know what's going to go on, and we want to know what charity, where the money's going to go, and who's going to be served by it. Because we feel like that's important. Because if people read it, they'll want to know what they are supporting.
Right, and how to get in touch with the group.
Right, that's very important.
Absolutely. How valuable. Now, Betty, how long have you been with the Myrtle Beach Herald?
I started in '96.
Really?
Started out as a business manager. In fact, I started out on a part-time basis. I was going to school to work with Blue Cross Blue Shield. And I started just a part-time basis doing books and built to business manager. Debbie Harwell talked me out of doing the Blue Cross Blue Shield.
Yeah,
so there I stayed. And then somebody quit that was doing some part of the paper, I think the ads. So I thought, I want to try that.
Yeah.
And so I tried that, and I gradually worked my way to the other part of the paper, which I really, really, really love.
Creating ads as well as...
putting the paper together.
Putting the paper together.
I love that end of it.
Is it the creative side that really stimulates you? What is it that really excites you?
I think part of it is creative, and part of it is I love to do puzzles. I love mysteries. I love making things put together, and you really have to work to make it all fit.
You're right.
Be surprised what a job it is to make everything fit.
And a lot of things come in at the last minute, Betty. It's amazing to see so many of the stories, of course, on a weekly community paper. A lot of stories are coming in on Tuesday night or even Wednesday morning early to be able to fit in there.
You can't really, to be current when you come out, you just can't get a great start like the first, or when the week's over, starting a new week. You've got to have it all in that one time period there.
It's so valuable to think of, as we've seen with either Debbie or Steve or Tom and some of those commercials that have been running, or the new ones with Rhonda and Ed Piotrowski. The excitement for Weekly is that opportunity to really spend a lot of time getting into a story, not churning and burning, not knocking out stories, even though dailies have an incredibly important role as the information provider in a community. On a daily basis, they're knocking things out, but oftentimes that experience of being able to put a lot of time into a particular story.
Yes, we have to get the story behind the story, because if something happened like 4 or 5 days earlier, the people by that time know what happened, but we want to tell them why it happened and the full story in depth.
The story behind the story.
And it allows us to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, of course, it was so exciting last weekend to see, I think the South Carolina Press Association had their winter meeting here at the Myrtle Beach Marriott Resort. And so, of course, we were so focused on this Saturday night's upcoming Hardball, but to know that here at the Marriott, you were here and I think received the second place for a page one design for the Herald, and newspapers under 4,000 in circulation. How was that? What was that like?
Oh, that's very exciting. It's just such a thrill to hear your name called.
Oh, yeah.
And realize, that your work is appreciated by people that, by other editors, publishers.
Right.
It's a big thrill for me.
Had you won other awards before with the South Carolina Press Association?
Yes, I won 2 awards the year before. I won first place page design, and then I won an award the year before that.
Is that right?
But it's always thrilling. It's just a great thrill.
You never get tired of hearing your name called out, and you've won. Yeah.
You love for those plaques to keep multiplying.
Right. I've seen a lot on your walls over at the Herald, either in its location at Myrtle Square Mall or even more recently in the new move to the Fox 43 studios on the former Air Force Base.
Yes, and that's been exciting, too.
Yeah, talk about that transition, Betty. Of course, you all have been in the mall for how long?
We've been in the mall, I believe, about 3 or 4 years.
Okay,
I've forgotten exactly how long.
Where were you before the mall?
We were behind the convention center on Farlow Street.
Okay, right.
And, of course, we were in very small offices there.
Right.
And the move to the mall, we had all the space over there.
And now I've moved into a kind of small office setting. Of course, a huge building, but a relatively small area for the Herald. But of
Yes,
course, it really
I like
keeps
it out
everyone
there.
tight together.
And it's interesting being at the TV station. That's something different that I haven't been around at all.
Yeah, yeah. What are some of the aspects there? Have you gotten to know some of the other folks in the building, or met up interesting
Yes,
folks coming by? Yeah.
That's very interesting. And what thrilled me is getting a chance to meet Mickey Spillane.
Oh, yeah.
In high school, that was my hero.
Mickey Spillane was?
Oh, yes, Ida Jury.
Yeah.
Friends and I would sit and read that book out loud to each other.
Oh, you're kidding.
And so getting to meet him was a great thrill.
Did you tell Mickey that when he
Oh,
came?
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Y'all used to get around together and read it out loud?
Sure did. And I got my picture taken with him, and I had to email it to my high school best buddy to show him.
Oh, he must have been blown away.
Oh, yes.
How exciting. You know, Mickey's going to be on the show next week. Actually, we're re-airing that interview that he did with us at Carolina People. He's going to be re-airing on Monday and Tuesday of next week. So hopefully get a lot of folks to tune back in. I've got
He's
more.
quite a character.
Oh, he
I
is.
thoroughly enjoyed that.
I don't know if you got to see the interviews, but he took total control of the interview and talked. I think at one point he said, "Go ahead and ask me a question,"
Yeah.
because he was talking so much.
Oh, he was just great.
Oh, yeah.
Sure was.
He really is.
Yeah, that was a thrill.
Give the viewers a behind-the-scenes aspect. I know you talked about the reporters for the Herald or for any community newspaper really providing the story behind the story. But give the viewers a sense of what all is done to help put together, let's say, last week's issue, for instance, the one where there was the picture of the Mike Morales at Grand Strand Regional and the child, as well as just the whole, we had the Locals Choice Awards winners in there, the 4 pages of that. But how do you go about putting together the paper each week, Betty? What's the creative side of that? What's it like for you? And just give the viewers a sense of what you have to do.
Well, sometimes it's quite frantic. The first thing you try to plan your front page, the very first thing, and you've got to have the photo that's going to grab your attention,
Right.
which is very important because in the stands, that's what's going to grab the headline and the photo. It's going to grab the attention. And you want to make sure you have that and your lead stories. But a lot of times things will come up unexpected, and sometimes I have to leave space even on Wednesday morning so that we will have the very latest on what event has happened. And you've just got to figure your space. You work with your ads, work around your ads too, and it's just like working a big puzzle.
It really is like a big puzzle.
Right.
I never thought about it that way.
Well,
but,
it is.
I heard
It's
you
a
mention that
challenge.
earlier. Yeah.
And sometimes it doesn't come out, and you've got to go and use your little scissors some.
And that's when the editing
The
aspect
copy
really
editing
comes into
comes
play.
in,
That's right. So you're oftentimes having to not only lay out the ads, but then insert the ads throughout the paper, as well
Right,
as public service announcements that run throughout the paper, and insert them along with the news to make sure it flows well.
Right, and try to make everything sort of mesh on the page that it's on, so that you'll carry a certain theme in certain areas of the paper.
To think 8 years ago to come in as a part-timer, Betty, and now to be so integral in the aspect of getting a weekly paper out, that's incredible. How has that felt for you over the last 8 years to see
Well, I
that
found when I'm past retirement age, I found what I want to be when I grow up. Now,
Good for you,
so as
Jeff.
long as I can do it, I will do it because I
Yeah.
love it.
Do you get to spend time, obviously you're so busy at the paper, on those wind-down days, after having gotten it out on the Wednesday afternoons, or assuming everything gets out okay, or the Thursdays, are you able to get out and do some of the other things in the community that you like to do, spend time with your family?
Yeah, I spend a lot of time with my family. On Thursday, I nap a lot.
Right, I'm sure, that's right.
And I spend time with my family. I live with my father, and I do things, for him, get him out, and then try to go out a little now and then. And I like to cover things occasionally myself. I'll cover an art show tomorrow night, just once in a while. Just keep my hand in on it. I enjoy doing that too.
That's good thinking. Yeah. Did you maintain that? How about when you were the business manager at the Herald? Did you also get in and help out on some stories, for art stories or otherwise?
I did a review occasionally, and that was the first thing I did. But I just like to do that now and then, especially when it's art. I love art.
Now, Betty, I mean, for someone who said, like last Friday, the excitement of hearing your name called and going up and winning, in that instance, the second place, as well as years before, the first place awards for page design or overall layout, to see your name in print and to know that you've provided an access for someone in the community to get their story out or their message out, that must be really gratifying.
It is. I just feel great when I do that, when it works. And it's just real important to me. I love what I do. I love the newspaper work.
Do you take pictures as well when you go out on the scene? Do you also take pictures to add to the story?
Yes. I like to do that. And the new digital, the digital that we're working with makes everything so much easier now.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Now, you have to interface with all the writers as well as the photographers. Everything really has to come through you. You're kind of the traffic manager. I mean, to make sure all the traffic works in the crosswords.
Mesh when it gets to me.
The three writers, the principal writers, of course, Tom O'Dare, our editor, who's been with us on the show, Steve Porter, who's visited with us, who's pretty busy in the mornings, obviously, but who's visited with us, Debbie Harwell, who owned the paper for many, many years and served as the publisher, and, of course, continues to try to put together a column on a regular basis, the rest of the news. And then Paul Gable, who's been putting a lot of stuff in recently.
Well, they're all great to work with. It's just been fantastic. We have a real good rapport between us. And if I get, sometimes you get jammed up and sometimes you've got space. And all I have to do is let them know, and they're just so wonderful to work with.
So they're understanding when you're having to cut stuff out of the stories or even shrink in a picture or...
And everybody's not that way.
Yeah, I'm sure. That would be difficult in really big organizations.
It's a really great group that we're working with right now.
That's wonderful. Think about days growing up. If you ever thought, when you're sitting around reading Eye of the Jury in 1947 or 48 or whenever that was out, when it first came out, around with your friends, just the love of the literary sense, did you ever imagine that 50 years later you'd be actually working the literary sense out on paper on your own?
Well, that's actually what I wanted. I wanted something in publishing or working with books. And I ended up marrying very young.
Oh, yeah.
And so that, of course, changes the way your life goes. And I ended up secretarial or office, dabbled in real estate. And it's, like I said, taken me till I got to this point to get to where I wanted to be to begin with.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So at an early age, you thought about publishing?
Yes,
Huh. Had you thought about creative writing or working as a novelist? Or
either that. Well, I thought about that, and then I thought about I'd like to edit other people's work. I had thought about that, but it's taken me all these years to get into the field.
Right. Last Tuesday, one of our new columnists, Rhonda Rich, was on the show talking about her column as well as her books. What Southern Women Know That Other Women Should, as well as My Life in the Pits. She said that What Southern Women Knows in its 19th printing now. So I'm sure over time there's always that editing aspect of constantly going back to take a look to make sure this is it. And I know she's working on a follow-up to that. But for you, that excitement of really going in and being interested in helping someone get their message out as clear as possible.
Yes, it's just because you're a part of it when you do that. Because there's got to be writers and there's got to be readers. And I feel like when I read a book, I can get into the book, and if I can't get into the book, it's not a very good book. So I feel like I have, my view of it counts. As a matter of fact, one of my sons is an aspiring writer.
Really?
And I just received a big script he wants me to edit.
You're kidding,
He wants to write for TV.
Oh, really? Wow. What's he doing now that's prompted his interest in writing for television?
Well, he's wanted to write for a long time, and he's actually in the restaurant business. But he's a dedicated writer. So if dedication means anything, sooner or later he will accomplish it.
Now, is he in the area, or is he one of the two boys?
No, he's in West Virginia.
He's in West Virginia.
Yes,
Oh, great. Yeah, give me a sense where all 6 of them are now. You said 4 of them are here, and 2 of them. Go from first to last as to where they are.
Well, my daughter's here.
Right.
My next son is in Florence.
Okay.
The next one is in West Virginia. The next one is in Kentucky. The next one is in Charlotte, and the next one is in Loris.
Wow, so they are. The one in West Virginia, one in Kentucky, and then the 4 right here within the Horry, Brunswick, and Florence
Right,
counties. That's amazing.
And we see each other, weekly.
Yeah. Do you all get together and have family reunions on a pretty regular basis?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Sure, the ones in Kentucky and West Virginia like to get out and see their
Oh,
brothers
they
and
do,
sisters.
yes. They're all real close.
Yeah. And when you moved down here 27 years ago, was your dad with you, or did he move down later?
No, my daughter and her husband moved here first. I moved here 2 years later. My parents moved 2 years later then, after my mother retired. And so my mother died 3 years ago, and I've lived with my father since then.
Having grown up in the North Carolina mountains, do you get back there? Do you get back there at all, or now
Every
living at the beach?
chance I get.
Yeah, you like the mountains.
I still love the mountains, yes. I love the beach, but I love the mountains. So I go up every 2 or 3 months for a weekend.
For someone who's never lived in the mountains or hasn't spent a lot of time going to the mountains, what is it about the mountains you really like?
They're just such a peaceful, totally peaceful feeling there, and it's beautiful, and that's home. That's really home.
That's home. Yeah, more than half your life is spent in the mountains.
Yes, my roots are there. But I love Myrtle Beach, though. Myrtle Beach has been a great place to live.
Absolutely. How about the growth on the Strand, Betty? You've seen over 27 years a lot of...
Oh, it's amazing. And the amazing thing is the biggest growth has come within the past 5 years. I'd say 5 years. It's just been mind-boggling.
I know.
Especially all the new roads that we have, which we needed for years.
Absolutely.
It's wonderful.
Absolutely. Just last Thursday, our editor, Tom, got back from Washington, traveling up there to lobby for I-73, another potentially really big road. And I know the big push now is, instead of saying Detroit to Myrtle, they're saying from Myrtle Beach to Detroit.
Right.
The real starting point would be here, which is an important point to point out.
Well, everybody knows Myrtle Beach now. Myrtle Beach is on the map all over the country now. So it's real important. And I think Grissom Parkway was one of the most wonderful things.
Oh, yeah, from the airport all the way up to, I guess, 67th.
That is the most convenient road.
And you use that a lot. Do you live near Grissom?
Yes, I use that a lot. And, of course, 31 and 22. I go to Loris a lot, and I go to Charlotte a lot. And every time I get on the road, thank goodness.
Invaluable.
This is great, right.
Absolutely.
Totally.
But if you weren't currently the copy editor and the layout designer for the Myrtle Beach Herald, what do you think you'd be doing?
I have a lot of hobbies. If I weren't working, I love to paint, and I just have a lot of hobbies. I'm determined to learn to play the guitar good, which I'm not very good at. But
really?
I just love music, art, and just getting out a lot, running around, going to the mountains.
Reading, writing,
Reading. Oh, I
art.
always read.
Yeah. Reading, writing, art, playing the guitar. What's prompted that interest, Betty?
I just love music, and I like to be able to accompany myself. If I can just play enough chords, and like to sing a little bit. Just have a lot of hobbies.
Yeah, sure. You've got today and tomorrow to pick out the dress for Saturday night, Betty. It's getting really close.
I'm desperate.
You better get on it. We're very excited that Patty's coming as well. Patty Phelps from The Office.
Oh, we're really looking forward to that.
You're going to love your table. Of course, the Myrtle Beach Herald being the presenting sponsor, it's a big opportunity. We've got 5 tables that night, and so it's so exciting to see a broad mix of both former folks who've been associated with the paper for a long time, as well as a lot of folks within the community at one point who had a stake in the paper who'll be there that night.
And it's good for us to get to see them again. And I'm just really excited about it.
When you think now 8 years at the paper, Betty, what part of it to wrap up has been the most exciting for you?
Well, it really excited me when I started getting over to the production end. That meant a lot to me because it was something I really love to do. And I think anybody that's doing something that they love is very, very fortunate. And it's just a thrill.
It's that thrill of doing something she loves on a day-to-day basis, working so hard on the creative side as the copy editor of the Myrtle Beach Herald, the layout designer, putting ads together, making those ads fit in the paper. A big crossword puzzle, she said. Creativity is at her heart, and she's doing it every day at the Myrtle Beach Herald. Betty, thanks so much for being with us this morning.
Well, thank you, Greg. I enjoyed it.
Absolutely. Stay tuned to more Carolina People coming up next. We want to thank Betty Moses and her amazing creativity, as well as all the staff of the Myrtle Beach Herald, for working so hard to make today's Carolina People so special. Catch Betty this Saturday night here at the Myrtle Beach Marriott Resort at Grand Dunes at the 10th Annual American Heart Ball presented by the Myrtle Beach Herald.